All right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the District Advisory Council meeting. Before we start, I'm going to turn it over to my team to provide the information relating to translation.
Buenas noches. Para servicios de interpretación, favor de hacer lo siguiente si nos acompaña por teléfono o tableta. Número 1, oprima los 3 puntos. Número 2, oprima la opción de Language Interpretation. Número 3, seleccione el idioma Spanish. Número 4, deslice el botón de Mute Original Audio. Si nos acompaña por computadora, favor de hacer lo siguiente. Número 1, haga clic en el icono del globo localizado en la parte de debajo de su pantalla. Número 2, escoja el idioma Spanish. Número 3, seleccione Mute Original Audio. We will now have our chair call the meeting to order.
Good evening, all out there in the land. San Bernardino Unified. So many of us. Oh my God, look at this. Yes. Welcome, welcome. We are calling the meeting to order at 5:01 p.m.
Next item on the agenda is our hybrid meeting norms.
Before we move on with the rest of our agenda, I would like to review the hybrid meeting norms. If we are here in person, for all of those that are here, scoot over to some of those that don't have a seat, can sit down, you guys. Don't be scared to move over. Those of you sit on down. In person, enter the meeting prepared to be engaged. Sign in at the registration table. To take a question, use your burning question form and step up to the podium. Your question. Second emotion, raise your hand and state your first and last name. To vote, raise your hand until the count is complete. Enjoy the meeting. In our virtual world, enter the virtual meeting prepared to be engaged. Roll call will be taken by the attendance report. To ask a question, type the question in that chat box. To motion or second a motion, raise your virtual hand or unmute and state your first and last name. To vote, raise your virtual hand and keep it raised until the count is complete. You all enjoy the meeting. Okay.
Excellent. Before we move on to the next item on the agenda, please make sure you have your packet in front of you when you signed in. You should have received a copy of tonight's agenda as well as a copy of the minutes from our last meeting, November 13th. You should also have a copy of this evening's presentation and a handout from our Wellness Service Department. And you should also have a copy of our board policy 6020 parent involvement in your packet. Roll call is next.
Roll call will be taken by the attendance report from the Zoom meeting and in person, the sign-in sheet. Please take out your DAC minutes and take a few minutes to review them from last month, and then we'll discuss if there's any discussion. As a reminder, we will take the vote from the DAC representatives. If the DAC alternative is here in place of the representative is able to vote.
As you're reviewing those minutes from our last meeting, you will find that on those minutes, we had a review and approval of minutes from the October meeting, as well as new business with an ethnic studies and math adoption presentation from our elementary and secondary education departments. We also had a presentation from our STEAM department, our science, technology, engineering, arts, and math department. We also had a presentation last month regarding our expanded learning program. And then there was some information provided about our signature programs and the lottery process for our signature schools. And then you had the opportunity to review the DAC bylaws and approve them for this year.
Can I get a motion to approve the November 13th, 2025 meeting minutes? Please state your first and last name.
Alexis Sandoval.
And Alexis Sandoval, second it. Who, first name again? Jose. Thank you. We'll call for the vote.
We got the first and second. Any discussions? All those in favor, if you are joining, please raise your hand to show your approval. If you are joining us in Zoom, please raise your virtual hand to show your approval. Sorry, any abstentions? Okay, motion carries.
Excellent. Next item on the agenda, item number 4. Excuse me, item number 5.
We have a student representative who will be sharing a student leadership advisory report.
Are they joining us virtually this evening? Okay, we don't have anyone in attendance this evening, so we'll move on to the next item.
Thank you. There is no old business to address at this time. Before we move on to our first presenter, we would like to remind our members and guests to please keep questions in general and refrain from asking student-specific questions. This is to ensure the privacy and confidentiality of all students and their families. If you do have a personal question, feel free to speak with Ms. Sargent or Ms. Tagashi at the end of the meeting. Thank you for understanding. Our first agenda line item under new business is the presentation on Wellness School-Based Health Clinic. The Student Wellness and Support Services Department is here to present this information.
And we'll allow our Director of Student Wellness to introduce herself. Come on up.
Yes.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Colleen Williams, the Director of Student Wellness and Support Services. So excited to be here with you tonight, and hopefully you have copies of this so that you can take a look. There's a lot of information up here. I am going to share some of the supports and services that are wellness related that are available on all of our school sites. And then we're going to take a sneak peek at our school-based health centers or our clinics that are coming to our schools as well. So in this flyer that you have or that you can see on this screen, it's a nice summary of all of the resources and services that we have on your schools, campuses. You can see there's a little code that says if they are available at every single school. And I'm really excited to tell you that all of these are available at no cost to any of our families, regardless of insurance status as well. So we do have counseling supports at every single one of your schools. Our school counselors are working really hard to support your students in their academic, social, emotional, and college and career aspirations. Each one of our schools has school counselors available to your student. At the middle school and high school level, they have multiple counselors, and so there's a specific counselor assigned to your student. Additionally, we have mental health therapeutic services at every single school, either through Victor Community, which is a partner of ours. We have an internal mental health team from the Student Wellness Department made up of marriage family therapists, licensed professional clinical counselors, and licensed social workers as well. And so they do service at the schools for individual students across the district. We have a Hazel Health program. Has anybody here, raise your hand if you've heard of Hazel Health. So Hazel Health is a telemedicine program that your students can see a nurse practitioner or a doctor on an iPad in the health office at the school. And that doctor or nurse practitioner can see them get their needs met. And most of the time, 93% of the time, students return to class. So if you're looking for ways for them to get their needs met and you not to have to pick them up from school, that's the thing to consent for. And additionally, we have a great partnership with IEHP. They have a navigator program that will come and support families, help determine what medical needs you have, as well as any food insecurity, housing insecurity, and support those efforts as well. We have amazing school nurses at our schools that help support your students and their dental needs. So we have a partner that is assigned to every single school where your students can be seen by a dentist for free. And their teeth are cleaned, they get fluoride, they get x-rays, and then a little report comes home to you to let you know if they need to go see a dentist for follow-up care. And the same is true in terms of being amazing. Our school nurses, they do screenings for vision and hearing to see if your student has any challenges in their hearing or in their vision. And then we have two amazing partners that come to our schools to do vision clinics. So if I was seen by the nurse and I failed my vision, they will bring home a consent form to you to sign, and they'll be seen by that partner at the school. They'll get an eye exam. They get to pick out really cool glasses frames, way cooler than I could ever pick out. And they get their glasses for free in about a week or two. And so we've had some very happy kids with some very stylish glasses in the recent future. Last year, we had 966 kids receive free glasses, so across the district. So we're really excited as we continue that program. Last kind of couple pieces for your nurses, we have emergency care plans. If you have a student that has a medical condition that requires emergency response, say it's a seizure disorder or diabetes or asthma, your school nurse can develop an emergency care plan for your child and then train the teachers and the staff that work with your child to make sure they're ready to respond in an emergency. So for your seizure disorder student, if they happen to have a seizure, what is the emergency response that we will give? For your diabetic, should they have a drop in blood sugar, how do we support them with emergency sugar, fast-acting sugar, so that they can be cared for quickly? So those emergency care plans, you would know about them, and we would have your permission to walk through those with the staff. And just recently, we also trained all of our EXL site leads and assistant site leads on those emergency care plans. So if you have a child that has an emergency care plan and they're in our before and after school programs, they will also receive those emergency responses from the EXL staff as well. And then a couple other things. We have immunization clinics. We run a lot of those. We have one this Saturday at Curtis Middle School. So I will be there hanging out with everybody that comes to get either immunization shots or sports physicals. So we have sports physicals available for free to our families so that students can be athletes at middle school and high school level. And those sports physicals are actually paid for by our EXL program. So that's your huge summary. On this document, you can kind of see where the partners and the district staff are available. So in our mental health world, we have a great first line in our teachers. They support the student's social emotional learning. We have a curriculum that they teach so that students learn, how do I deal with frustration? How do I deal when I'm having a disagreement with my friend at recess? How do I work with other people? All of those interactions that we have. And then our school counselors support that with some intensive work in intervention should students need a little more. And then we have therapists to do that work intensively, individually, should that be needed. So say your student is suffering from anxiety or depression or some trauma, we can work through that with them through therapy. And then we have some partners that are also doing therapy to make sure that we can cover all of the schools in the district. Physical health, we already talked a lot about what nurses do. So we have 34 school nurses across our district. We have another team that are kind of hidden behind the scenes of licensed vocational nurses. There are 7 of them, and they go and provide procedures across the district. So a student that needs a G-tube feeding so that they don't actually eat food, but they need to be fed. So we'll have somebody go and do those feedings for them. So those are a little more involved, but they make sure that all of our students and our medically fragile students are cared for through the district. Additionally, we have health aides at all of our schools. Health aides are probably the people you call and talk to, and you might think it's the nurse, but they're the people who are recording or calling you when your child's not feeling well. So those are our health aides that do an amazing job of connecting your child to Hazel Health and or getting them the care that they need as well in the moment. We talked about dental supports there. We have 4 partners doing that work: Big Smiles, Jerry Smiles, Healthy Teeth for Kids, and Assistance League. And then vision and hearing, our nurses do the bulk of the work. And then we have 2 partners, Lessenac Free Clinic and Western University, that do the eyeglass clinics and eye exams there on the campus. So that's a smattering of all the services that are happening across the district. It's a really great blend between district staff that are doing the expertise or the specialty care with our community partners as well. And then if we move on to school-based health centers, really exciting kind of hot off the presses information. I wanted to share a little bit about the why and the how and the where. So the state puts out a report that has all of the schools across the state, and there's about 10,000 schools across the state or so. That's my guesstimate. And in the California School-Based Health Alliance, they rate all of the schools. And they tell you, based on the area, based on the needs of the families in the area, which schools need clinical support in their neighborhoods. And so if you look at this list of schools, as a district, San Bernardino had 15 of the top 200 schools of highest need, which means that we have some schools that have some needs that we want to address, right? They're color-coded here and listed by high school. So you can see all of those darker pinks, they're all related or close to Indian Springs High School. The ones that are yellow are close to Arroyo, and purple for Pacific, right? So if you hop to the next slide, I took all those schools and laid them on our district map for you. So all of those little pink circles are those schools that were on that chart. So you can kind of see the areas of town that are of highest need based on that state report. The reason I mention that is because when we looked at where should we start with school-based health centers, we went to the areas that had the highest need, okay? So you can see the one little green circle there is circling Sierra High School for its wellness center, and Olive Branch Food Supplies. So they're doing a lot there. But we really tried to match where the school's needs are and the feeder schools, so the elementaries and the middle school, not just high school needs, and looked at where we were going to put clinics. So if you take us to the next slide, you can kind of see what this looks like now. So we do have Sierra, it's circled there in yellow. We utilized some grant funds to renovate the space at San Andreas High School, so they have a brand new wellness space there. We are just about to open the doors in January at the Pacific Clinic. It's very exciting for us. Our team is already living there doing mental health supports for students at Pacific, and then our clinical partner is moving in January. So we're going to have roommates really soon that will be able to do care as well. And then we have plans and funding and architectural plans approved by the state for Indian Springs High School and right across the parking lot at Pakum Pakum Welcome Center. So you may notice when you drive up to that property that there's a little offshoot that's kind of empty. That is where the clinic will be by this summer. So we're going to take a little look at that as we go through the slides. So this is Pacific High School. They built a biomedical pathway. So that whole building is the biomedical pathway. What I squared off for you there is the clinic. And so we have 2 offices for behavioral health or mental health services. There is a separate entrance for students. They do not leave campus to go to the clinic. They enter from the quad. And then the community enters into a different waiting room from the parking lot. So we have access for community members and support for them, as well as for the students, and a little bit of privacy for the students if they're going there as well. Our partner at Pacific High School and all 3 clinics that are ready to launch is Loma Linda SAC Health Systems. So if you are a Medi-Cal family, and you have IEHP or Molina or another Medi-Cal provider, you can sign up for SAC as your provider. Does that make sense? So it's like your medical group and be seen at any one of these clinics. The thing about SAC is they have the most specialty care connections in the entire country, actually. So that's very cool. And so SAC will be moving in, like I said, in January. At this clinic at Pacific, they will provide well child visits, immunizations, regular acute care. You might have an ailment that you want to go see the doctor for, and they can refer you to other services as well. So lots of services there. SAC will also provide mental health or family therapy for an entire family or for couples or for adult individuals. And so this clinic is to serve the community at Pacific, but also all of the schools that feed into Pacific, whether it's Anton or Fairfax or Del Vallejo students as well. So we're really excited about opening the doors to that clinic for the community that it serves. And our next one, Sierra's program got completely renovated as well. So they have a brand new space, primarily mental health services. They do have the Hazel Health, the eye vision clinics and dental clinics that we provide, but they primarily focus on mental health and case management for their student population there. Go ahead. San Andreas, this is the inside of the renovated space. So we have these pods for individual confidential mental health therapy. You can see that this one, along with Pacific, were funded by Student Behavioral Health Intervention Programs, or SBHIP money. And those services are also very similar to Sierra in that they're primarily mental health, but they do have Hazel Health, telemedicine, vision, dental, with our regular providers, with our school nurse that is assigned to those schools as well. This is the most exciting one. Well, exciting because it's right here in your neck of the woods if you're sitting here with me this evening. The Welcoming Resource, or Pakum Pakum Welcoming Resource Center. As you walk up to the quad, that little space that I have labeled with the arrow that looks like it's a 1-story building on the 3-story building, that whole space will be the clinic space. And so this will be open to the community and to students in this area as well. Our closest high school to here is San Bernardino High School. And so we will have staff there from Student Wellness to provide mental health supports for students. And then SAC Health will be here. The addition of services here besides physical health and mental health from Loma Linda SAC will also be dental. So dental will be in this building as well as an ongoing service. So you can book your dental appointments right across the parking lot. And then our last one that's in the works is Indian Springs High School. If you know Indian Springs at all, this is going to be if you're looking at the front gate, it is going to be the left-hand side of that admin building, sort of at the corner close to the theater of the parking lot. So students will enter and have a separate waiting area from the quad. Again, they will not exit campus to be able to go to that clinic. That's very important to us to make sure our students are safe at all times. And then our community members that are using this clinic will enter from the front parking lot right off of Del Rosa. This clinic should be open around October, November of this next school year. And I failed to tell you that the Welcoming Resource should be open this summer. So we're kind of staging them. Pacific should be open January, Welcoming Resource in the summer, and then this one in the fall. Got to have time to unpack boxes. Okay. And then next. Based on needs, remember looking at that map of needs that we had, we're sort of covering that southern region all the way across. So our next target is Arroyo Valley. And so when we find opportunities to apply for grants where you can use that funding to build buildings or do renovations, or we have partners in this work. Remember that list of all the partners we have? Some of those partners are long-standing partners and have a vested interest in the health of this community as well. And so as soon as we pull all the right pennies and dollars together, we'll be building next at Arroyo Valley to meet that need on the west side of town as well. And then just a last opportunity. We do have wellness tours, and I think you received a flyer. And for those folks that are virtual with us, this is also got a bit.ly that you can type in. Or a QR code, and you can book your spot at our wellness tours. So we take you out to the schools to see the events and the clinics and things that are happening. So all those services that we talked about, we'll take you to a dental event, we'll take you to a vision event, we'll go talk to counselors, we'll talk to mental health therapists, so that you get a chance to see the kinds of services that are right here in your neighborhood. So we will feed you a quick breakfast, jump in some cars, and transport you from place to place and bring you back and have some lunch. And then we also use those as an opportunity to hear from you. So what is the feedback that you have for us? What are the steps that we need to improve upon? What are the things that you think we're missing, or things that we should keep doing? So the next one is January 21st. And so look forward to seeing some folks there, and would love to take you on a tour and show off what your amazing staff is doing to help support your students. I think that's it. All right. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you, Ms. Williams. Wonderful. Let's give her a hand, you guys. Our district is doing so much. Are there any questions for her? We have one in the back.
Can you come up to the microphone
To the
right over here,
podium, please.
Saturday, I believe.
Yes, we're going to be at Curtis Middle School for immunizations, sports physicals, and dental treatments.
Thank you
So come on down.
Thank you.
All right, let's give Ms. Williams a big hand for being here this evening and presenting all that great information. Next item on the agenda.
Okay, as we can see today, our staff up here, our committee is a skeleton crew because today is the Ho-Ho Parade for San Bernardino. So a lot of them are participating in that and helping out. So I'll give them an excuse.
Okay, well,
So
appreciate
our
that.
parliamentarian, who is not here at the moment, we would like to share a quick reminder before we take any questions. We would like to remind our members and guests that in order to honor everyone's time, we will take no more than 3 questions from those joining us in person and no more than 3 questions for those joining us virtually. Once we reach that point, we ask that you use the burning question form and turn those in at the sign-in table prior to leaving today, so that we can make sure to address them if you are joining us virtually. Okay. Okay. Thank you all for those great questions. Yay. We will move on to the next agenda item. The Multilingual Program Department will be presenting information on the English Learners programs and Title III monitoring. Welcome.
And as our Director of Elementary Multilingual Department is making his way to the podium, I just want to let everyone know it is that time of year where we're going to be presenting some federal monitoring information for programs Title I, Title II, Title III, our English Learner Program, and Title IV. We're going to start with Title III this evening. Let's give our Director, Les Ojeda, a big hand, please.
Thank you, Carol. Appreciate it. Thank you. Good evening, everybody. It's a pleasure for me to be here with you this evening, especially during the holiday season. I hope that you enjoy the holiday season with your families as we get ready to celebrate with our families and have some good quality time. I'm sure our students, our teachers, and our parents are ready for a little break, right? Including the categorical department, right? Speaking of the categorical department, I just want to say that in our department, the Multilingual Programs Department, we work hand in hand with categorical department. Kimber Sergeant, Cheryl Togashi, they're super helpful in helping us to make sure that not only that we utilize funds that we have, but also use the allocations that we have appropriately for our students. There are a lot of guidelines and rules that apply to a lot of federal money that we get. Many of you don't know that because you're not trying to spend it. But believe me, as someone who's trying to spend the money, sometimes you run into issues because of parameters that are set specifically for those funds. So it's very helpful to have someone that's knowledgeable. And in our case, like I said, our categorical department really works well with us and helping us and to support us. So we spend the money adequately in our students and appropriately. So with that said, my name is Les Ojeda. I'm the Director for Multilingual Programs on the elementary side of the house. My partner is Tex Acosta. He is not here tonight, but he facilitates for our secondary schools and doing the same thing that I do. So we advocate for our English learners and all of our dual language and trilingual programs. That is our job, to ensure that that particular group of students get what they need in order to be successful, whatever that may be. In this case, tonight I'm going to talk a little bit about Title III because that's what the topic is here in this meeting. So what is Title III? Title III is to help ensure that English learners attain English language proficiency and meet the academic standards. So it's federal money that we are given in order to help provide these 2 goals for our students. We want students to be able to learn English as quickly as possible so that they can meet the academic standards that English-speaking students have to meet. Not knowing a language is a challenge, right? Sometimes our students come from other countries and they don't start in kindergarten. They'll come in 3rd grade, 5th grade, sometimes even high school, right? So try to imagine going to a different country and not knowing the language that's spoken there and being assessed in language arts and math. That is a challenging thing to come across, especially as a child or a student, adolescent. And so the federal government gives us an allocation to help provide support for these students, in addition to what regular students that speak English already receive. And so I want to keep that in mind, that the funding that the federal government gives us for English learners goes above and beyond what each of our English-speaking students receive, because they don't have the language challenge that our English learners have. And so that is the goal. My department is in charge of trying to help teachers learn strategies to help our English learners progress every year until they are reclassified and meet the minimum standard of English so they can be successful academically. So that's kind of what we do. As you can see in the handouts on the second page, it talks about the allocation that we receive. It talks about Title III immigrant education allocation. And basically, that fund helps to support our English learners that are immigrant students. The amount varies from year to year. It's not a whole lot for a district our size, but it helps to provide support. We use that money to help fund our what we call educational assistant threes. And their specific job is to be in classrooms with students, primarily that are newcomers into our education system and new to the country. That's why they're called newcomers, because they don't have the tools quite yet to be able to understand everything that's going on in the classroom. So we provide support in that way. We also get a Title III LEP student allocation. And as you can see by the handout, it goes for one, helping them learn English. That's the first thing. The second thing, to help meet the academic standards. And then the third thing, as I mentioned, it's to supplement, not supplant, meaning that it's supposed to provide resources that go above and beyond what all the other students are getting, so that they can get the tools needed to move quickly in learning the English language. So if you go to the next page, this simply just shows how we spend that money. Where's that money going? How are we supporting our students? So first of all, we have support teachers and we have program specialists. Support teachers and program specialists, their main job is to help provide professional development for our teachers in order to teach them skills as a teacher working with English learners. In a district like ours, where we have thousands of English learners, pretty much every teacher in our district has at least one English learner in their class. If you were to be a gambler, which I am not, because I'd probably lose a lot of money, in this case, I would venture to say that 90% of our teachers in this district or higher have one or more English learners in their classes, because that's the constituency that we have in our community, right? And so it's very important to provide training for the teachers so that they can adequately have some strategies that English learners may need that English-speaking students may not need. Does that make sense? So we want to provide the teachers with resources and tools in order to be able to effectively teach English learners to develop the English language at a rate that's adequate. And, you know, the state monitors that every year. You can go on the California Department of Education website and you can see how our English learners are doing. You put in our school district, you will find out exactly how they're doing and academically. And so it's important for us to recognize that, because that's my job as a director for multilingual programs. Primarily, one of my jobs is to make sure that we provide professional development, and not only professional development, that we go in and we model what good lessons look like when it comes to working with our English learners. So that's kind of what our program specialists do. They provide trainings, professional development. They'll go out to the school sites, and the message from us as directors is that's the main place they should be, is at school sites, trying to coach and model lessons for teachers so that they can improve in how they teach our English learners. Having said that, we have other services that we provide with the money that we get, the federal money, Title III money as we call it, for our students. So on the last slide that I have, you can see where it says that title program monitoring, there's different areas where we list some of the things that we provided for this current academic year. So I talked about our educational assistants. We have several in schools. And the way we don't have enough money to fund one educational assistant per site, because we have a lot of schools in this district. So what we do is we prioritize based on need, right? We'll look at the data from each of our school sites, and the school sites that look like they need support based on the data, that's where we provide the resources that we have in the form of educational assistant threes. And so we have a few out there that work there on a schedule, a very tight schedule, and they usually go around from school to school based on where primarily our newcomer students are, to help give them support. Another thing we do is we provide a lot of resources. This year we were able to buy some cross-cultural reading books. We had the opportunity to spent quite a bit of our money on that this year, and we made sure that all K-5 teachers receive these books throughout the entire district. And we're actually looking now at purchasing for sixth grade as well. We have a little bit of funding that we came across in addition to Title III, because I want you to remember, Title III is a funding source, but it's not the only funding source. That's the federal money that we receive. And so I'm happy to report that we're able to buy these resources. We have support teachers. We offer what's called GLAD and Kagan training. One of the things that's essential for our English learners is discourse. They need to be able to communicate orally and in writing, right? We want them to practice. And so if teachers don't use structures, academic structures to allow students to have discourse in class, then they're not really servicing the student as they should. When we walk into a school site, a classroom, and we observed good teaching, one of the things that you want to see is students interacting and having dialogue with one another and practicing oral discourse. So these Kagan strategies and the trainings that we provide, this year we actually had every teacher in the district go through that training from kindergarten all the way to high school. And so we're also going to be training our administrators in Kagan strategies, because we want our administrators to know what to look for when they go in the classrooms. It's very important that they're in the know as well, right? To be able to monitor, supervise, and provide feedback for our teachers. That's part of what the principals do. And then the other thing I wanted to mention was just our reclassification rate. Reclassification just means that the student has learned adequate English enough where he doesn't need to have special instruction in English. So that's what the goal is from the state, right? They want all students to be reclassified because that shows that they have a level of English that allows them to learn at a higher rate. The language is no longer a barrier, and therefore they're able to learn a little bit more quickly and not worry so much about the language aspect. And that's what we want. So you can see that our scores every year are progressing in an upward direction, which is what we want. Same thing, if you look at the California dashboard, which I alluded to earlier, everyone has access to that on the California Department of Education. You're going to see that this year, all of our students are making progress. Our English learners are making progress in the right direction, and that's what we want. Our superintendent is very clear on his expectations, which is very high expectations, which is what it should be. And so as directors, our job is to enforce that so we do our part in ensuring that we train our teachers and our students are prepared to be able to meet the state assessments in the form of, in this case, the LPAC, which starts in February and runs through May. So in a nutshell, that's kind of what we do in the multilingual department. This is how we utilize Title III funds. For the most part, it's kind of a systematic thing that we do every year. We do have some purchases and resources every year that may be a little bit different, but a lot of that funding goes towards personnel that we employ to be able to support our English learners. In fact, the majority of it goes towards that. And so we're very lucky in this district to be able to have those resources. I worked at several districts before coming here. It's my 8th year here. I'm happy to say that because it's a great district. But I know that in other districts, they don't have the kind of resources at the level that we do in our district. Our Board of Education, our cabinet, our superintendent, and have really made a difference in allowing us to help support our English learners more so than I've seen in other districts, and I'm grateful to be part of that and doing my part in supporting our English learners. So again, I thank you for this opportunity to present tonight. Thank you, Categorical Department and our DAC board. I appreciate all that you do, and I wish everybody a happy holiday. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ojeda. Are there any questions for Mr. Ojeda and his department? I actually have a question.
Yes,
I'm
please.
sorry. Does anybody else have, before I ask? I'm sorry, Les. Well, I'm listening because it seems, and you got to bear with me sometimes because Cheryl and them all know I'm slow and I get confused and I'll be like, I don't know. Can you explain to me what is the Kagan strategy?
Absolutely. So I was speaking a little bit to that. It's a collaborative strategy in which teachers create structure in the classroom. They give students an opportunity to have oral discourse or communicate with one another, simply speaking. Talking to one another is a very important thing when developing the language. And it's very important that we create opportunities in the classroom so that students get that chance. And so it's very common, for example, if you do a classroom walkthrough, you'll see students, there's different systems where students get the opportunity to interact. It may be a group of 2, pair share, or it may be a group of 3 or 4, triad or a table of 4. And so they have specific jobs that is given to them by the teacher so that all of them have the opportunity to contribute and participate orally. And the teacher simply monitors around the room, ensuring that all the students are participating.
So it's almost similar to like Duolingo. How
Duolingo
you
is
have the
more of
verse where
it's a program, but it's not, there the student works individually. It's not a collaborative type format. It's an individual type format where the student is speaking directly to the computer program and practicing, kind of like Rosetta Stone, right? So the difference is that they're doing with Kagan, the emphasis on Kagan is speaking not just with one, but more than one. And also exchanging ideas is very important when it comes to culture and background. And we have a lot of students that are from other countries.
Right.
And what a great opportunity for them to speak to students that are from the United States, right? Comparing ideas and sharing, just experiences in life, right? And so that's what the Kagan strategies allow also.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, oh no, that
Okay.
makes sense.
Okay.
Trust me. If I didn't, I would be like, I'm confused.
Yeah, good.
But on two more questions I
Sure.
was writing down. I'm going to go fast. I'm sorry, you all.
No, take your time.
So I see the percentage with the reclassification. It's in 22, 23, it's 11, 23, 24, 15, and 20, 24, 25, 13.
Sure.
There are percentages of what overall? You
So
know,
those
if
are the overall reclassification rates for the school district. Our goal is 10% every year. So we've exceeded the 10% and during the last 3 years. We had a little bit of a dip from last year because frankly the rules changed for reclassification when it came to special education. In the past, for special education students that were both on an IEP and also were identified as English learners, right? There was an opportunity to be able to reclassify some of those students through the IEP process. However, as of last year, that rule changed. And so because of that, students are no longer able to be reclassified based on an IEP team's determination. So the criteria for special ed is the same as for everybody else, which is scoring a 4 on the LPAC exam. So for some of those students, it's very challenging to score a 4, and there is no wiggle room. The state does not say because you're in special education, you're okay with the 2 or a 3. There is an alternate LPAC in which a 3 is the requirement, but for some of our more severe students, they're not going to be able to, have a high rate of success on that exam. So I'm sure that's something the state will look at down the road, but it's not for us to decide. We just go with what the state tells us we have to do. So that's why you see a little bit of a dip. That's my opinion, because I don't really have proof, but all the other students did really well, but in that area we did drop a little bit.
No, the reason I was asking is I see the percentages, but I don't know what that's 15% of what, 13% of what number.
Of all of our
You know,
English learners that took the LPAC,
Okay.
which is about 10,000
10,000.
students.
Okay, thank you. And
Give
the
or take.
funding, because I see their funding is mostly for staff.
Correct.
Do they have any like field trips that they do or any?
At the high school level, I believe Mr. Acosta still does a trip. I think they go visit some of the colleges in the area. At the elementary, we do not. Because in the elementary school, most of the sites do their own field trips. And so it's specific to kind of the principal and what the teachers want. So we don't have a standardized trip that we take.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody, anything else? Or is that 3? Okay. Thank you.
Do we have any questions virtual? Were there any questions in the virtual world? Just give Mr. Ojeda a hand. Thank you.
Absolutely. Give him a big hand, please. Thank you so much.
If there's no more questions, we'll move on to our last agenda item.
Next agenda item.
It says that. Whoa, I'm sorry. You guys have to excuse me. Thank you once again. Okay, the next agenda item, line item, will be presented by the Categorical Programs Department. First up is the presentation on Title I, Title II, and Title IV programs monitoring. Did I do that?
And
Yeah.
you did absolutely correct. That's great. Thank you. It's going to start with me.
I figured that.
Yeah, I'm going to present the Title I portion, and then we'll have our director, Kimber Sargent, come up and talk to us about the Title II and Title IV programs. As Mr. Ojeda mentioned, Title III programs are federal funds that are received through a grant from the federal government, very similar to our Title I, II, and IV programs. So I'm going to speak with you this evening about our Title I program, what it is and what the allowable uses are. And I'm going to give you some information as to how well we're doing this year utilizing those particular funds. So if you take a look at the slide, you will see our allocation. Our district applied for and received the grant of $30,536,493 to be able to use for our lowest achieving students. The purpose of our Title I funds and program are to improve academic achievement throughout our schools so that all students, in particular our lowest achieving students, demonstrate proficiency on the challenging state standards that they're learning in their classrooms. And you'll see the ed code listed there, along with the references. And so these funds are used to improve the achievement as a result of improving the entire educational program at the school. And you're probably wondering, well, what does that mean? Well, remember that our federal funds are over and above what we receive from the state. Our state funds are used to pay for our teachers. They're used to pay for our principals. They're used to pay for our office staff and so forth, right? Our Title I funds are used above that to utilize to help improve achievement with our students in our schools. And I'll show you what those uses are. And I'm going to connect it to your school site council that you're all part of. So the schools receive the funds and they operate a program, one of two programs. It's either a school-wide program, SWP for short, or a targeted assistance program, or TAS program. All of our schools, with the exception of one, are a school-wide program. So they're able to utilize the funds across the campus for all of their students to improve the entire program at the school. And that is done in many ways. Our funds are used not only at all of our schools, but within some of our departments as well. And if you look at the next slide, you will see some of the activities that our Title I funds are utilized for, starting with our Atlas department. Our Title I funds, through our centralized services, help provide staff to provide services to support the families of our homeless and foster youth. Then we utilize our Title I funds to provide services through our family engagement department. We utilize them to pay for the staff to help provide families with the workshops that are offered from our family engagement department to build the skill and knowledge of our parents so they can help their kids at home. How many of you have participated in a workshop from family engagement where you're learning about a computer, or you're learning how to read with students, or doing some math skills? I see lots of hands here. That's great. Thank you. And they also provide our families with additional information and resources. Our funds are also used for our program specialists, such as ours from our department in categorical programs. They help provide the technical assistance to all of our schools regarding the Title I program that's built into that school plan for student achievement that you as school site council members help develop at your site. And so those Title I funds go out to your schools where you build that plan and you utilize those funds based on the needs of your schools. Okay, so our team helps the school team develop that plan and align the budget to be able to use those funds according to the allowable uses for Title I. And they also provide professional development, coaching, and mentoring. We have many program specialists in our elementary instruction department, in our secondary department, and our professional development department to help provide training to our teachers. Next slide, you'll see some services that are provided and some other activities. We have professional development staff and the books that they train our teachers on, so that we have the staff and then they buy books to train teachers on things such as early literacy, reading, and math, so that the teachers are building their skill and knowledge to be able to teach and improve their skills in the classroom for the students. There are times we utilize the Title I funds for contracted services where we bring other companies in, such as Kagan, like a contracted service that provides training to our teachers and administrators as well. We also utilize funds for some district-wide assessments for intervention purposes, because when we're working with our students and utilizing all the training that teachers have received and utilizing the books and the supplies, we want to know, are we making a difference, right? Are the people who are funded at the school site through the school plan making a difference in the achievement of students? So we provide some local assessments for our TK through 12 students in ELA and math, so that we can determine if those interventions are meeting the needs of the students and making a difference in their education. Next slide is the monitoring piece. This is where you'll see some data relating to all of those services that we just mentioned that are utilized as part of our centralized services. So you'll see that the number of foster youth students in our district who have been receiving supports are 343 foster youth, and we have 4,349 homeless students who are also receiving support. So the data is based from our CDE website, California Department of Education. In our family engagement staff during this past year, the Family Engagement Department hosted trainings and supports for family members. About 9,750 families attended trainings last year. And so far this year, about 4,600 family members have been attending those various trainings so far. Then we have our program specialists who've been out supporting the schools. You'll see a first look at some of our formative assessment data. This is our fall NWEA data. Our reading data so far this year, 29.53% of our students are on track, meaning they're at or above the 61st percentile level for reading. And then for math, 26.34% are on track for our math, and that's the first assessment so far this year. On the next page, you'll see that same data as it relates to the services that were provided, because our teachers, again, have been provided with professional development as well as those assessments, and you'll see that same data helps connect those pieces together with how well our students are doing. Are there any questions about the Title I program before I turn it over to our Director, Kimber Sargent, to bring you up to speed on our Title II program? Nothing online, no hands here. All right, let's give Ms. Sargent a big hand. She's going to tell you all about Title II and Title IV.
Happy Friday, Junior. We are almost there. We are almost to winter break. We have, one more week after this. So thank you, everybody who's here tonight. I know you have many competing priorities, especially this time of year. So thank you for being with us here tonight in person or online. Tonight you have heard from Mr. Ojeda, who shared about our English Learners Program. That is Title III. Mrs. Tagashi shared about our Title I program, which is our academic achievement program. I'm going to share about Titles II and IV. As you're hearing the presentations, I want to just give you a reminder that these are funds above and beyond what you normally hear me talk about, like LCAP. We still get our LCAP, and we know that it supports our English learners and it supports our academic program. And what I talk about with Title II and Title IV, you'll hear very similar themes. So every meeting that I go to, as I listen for input of what the community would like to see for our school district, I'm thinking in my head, okay, that could be an LCAP thing, that could be a title thing, that could be a grant thing. So any input that you have is really important to us. Even if you want to say, I think we really need to keep this, that is input that we want to hear. So at the end of the presentation for Titles II and IV, we're going to share a feedback form with you. It's nice if everybody thinks we're doing a great job, but if nobody fills out the form and I don't hear that you like it, then when we have to make decisions, if there are changes to how much we receive at the federal level, I want to have the feedback of our community to be a part of that decision making. So I'll ask as you listen, as I share Titles II and IV, listen for what you hear that you know is making an impact to your school site, to your child, to the programs that we offer, to our district as a whole. And think about, are there things that are missing? Are there areas where we can continue to grow? As Ms. Williams shared, she talked about all of the school-based health centers that we have. And we know, looking at that band, there's still one more area, Arroyo. So she's already thinking for the future, and that's what I'll ask you to do, is think for the future. Secondly, I'll ask just for forgiveness of my voice. I apologize. I'm working on it. I'm trying to make it come back to life. I also have asthma, so I need an individual emergency care plan for my own staff, so they know what to do with me. So I can appreciate that our students have that opportunity. So with that, I'll jump in. Title II, Title I, what Cheryl said is 30 million. So it's over 30 million. LCAP, 200 million. So as we present, the dollars are going to be smaller and smaller for the programs, okay? Title II is 2.5 million. These dollars are only at the district level. So these are not dollars that you talk about during school site council or ELAC or DAC or APAC. You wouldn't have discussions about Title II dollars because they only exist at the district level to benefit the district-wide programs, okay? So Title II, you'll see there a quadrant of 4 areas of allowability. Just like Mr. Ojeda said, all of our federal funds come with rules upon rules upon rules. One of those being how you spend your dollars. All of this needs to be supplemental, above and beyond. These are the extra things. These are the things that allow San Bernardino City Unified to shine. These are the things that set us apart from other districts where we can say we offer this, but another district might not. My sister, she works for another district. I know. I'm working on it. She's always like, oh, I wish my district had this. I wish my district had that. I wish my district had that. But we're able to do that with funds like this. So this will include professional learning, or also called professional development, recruitment and retention. That's both for our certificated and classified instructional staff, where we want to go into the community, make sure they understand the jobs that are available in our community and match them with that. Effective teaching strategies. So I know Miss Williams, our other Miss Williams, Corinthia Williams, asked about Kagan strategies. Kagan as a teacher was a dream come true because it gives you a lot of structures for ways for kids to talk to each other. So they might sit in a table group of 4 students, And when you are implementing these strategies, you can say, talk to your face partner, which is the person directly across from you. Or talk to your shoulder partner, which is the person, touching your shoulder right next to you. Or talk to your appointment clock partner. So you have somebody who's assigned to 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. Because a lot of our communication now, not just English learners, we want to text, right? We don't want to do it out loud in person with each other. So this is a skill that we need to develop for our English learners, but also for our English only. I am guilty of it too. Do they have an online chat? Because I don't want to call them, right? But we need to have those skills to have that kind of conversation. Title II also has support for understanding and supporting the whole child. So we know there's an academic component to children, but they come with other needs, as Ms. Colleen Williams shared, where we have mental, physical, and wellness needs that our students come with. Next slide. So you'll see here, these are the components of these are district-wide programs that we have. We have a very strongly held belief in coaching, that if you come into a position, you are not just dropped into that position, and we wish you the best. We hope it all goes well for you. Good luck to you. We'll see you at the end of the year for your evaluation, right? That is not how we do things. So when we have a principal that comes in, for example, and this is their first time being a principal, they are assigned a coach. That coach works directly with that principal in building their instructional leadership, their operational leadership, their financial leadership. So you'll see that they have somebody right there next to them. And that program lasts for 2 years. So for 2 years, you have a coach that's helping to develop you as a leader. We also have coaching to support professional learning communities. So as a principal, when I asked my teachers to talk to each other, they easily could talk as a group. Like, Cheryl, what did you do today? What did you do today? Oh, my day was terrible. Oh my gosh, I am so ready for break. They don't have a problem talking to each other, but just like Kagan, you want to give them a structure of what to talk about. So a professional learning community asks for them to examine, what did we want our kids to learn? What did they actually learn? And if they didn't learn it, what are we going to do about it? And if they did learn it, what are we going to do about it? So it gives them a structure to talk to each other so they stay focused on student data. So we provide coaching for our school sites for grade levels to build that ability to have those professional learning communities. Core coaching is for our elementary level, usually, because it focuses on early literacy. So how do you teach a student to read? It's not magic. There is actually really deep learning that a teacher has to do to understand why a student's having difficulty reading. If they're having difficulty with a sound or a group of sounds together, they're not able to blend a word together. They're not able to break a word apart. So the core program focuses on early literacy. So we have coaches for early literacy at that elementary level, helping, and they're working with our teachers. So this is coaching for our teachers. I'm going to teach you something. We're going to practice it together. You teach it. I'm going to give you feedback on your teaching, and we're going to plan the next lesson, right? And then the last one, Cheryl mentioned this under NWEA. This is an assessment that our students take. We use this assessment for a lot of reasons. But one of the main reasons is to determine who needs help in reading, who needs help in math. We want our teachers to be able to understand the reports. So we provide training to our teachers so they're able to pull the reports and then talk within their professional learning community about NWEA and what students need in order to support their development. The second row there you'll see is under professional development. This is staff. And this is the staff that carries out the professional development that our teachers receive from elementary instruction and from secondary instruction, so secondary education. So we have staff that are experts. They're experts in a content area or several content areas or a particular program, they host professional development that the teachers can go to. So if the teacher really wants to learn how to teach writing, then there's a program specialist that's able to provide training for writing. We also, as Mr. Ojeda mentioned, talked about the 2-day training that our teachers have. This year it was focused on Kagan. So every single one of our teachers went to this 2-day training, and they received training from Kagan that comes out of funding for Title II. You'll see here some of the data pieces that are tied to it. So how many schools are impacted by these interventions that we have. So we have 6 core schools. We have 33 schools that are cycling through NWEA PLC, 19 that have a PLC and leadership coach, 20 that have a TLC coach, that's their second year, and 23 that have an AXA coach. That means that they are clearing their credentials or within their first 2 years of that position. It is not if you're a new principal, we've already maxed out at 23, sorry, we can't help you. So we utilize several funding sources. Title II is one of those to make sure that any new administrator comes in has that support for them. Not all schools have the NWEA PLC because they've already cycled through that training. They received it perhaps last year, and these are new schools this year. And then you'll see the same data actually that Cheryl presented. This data is a predictor for our state testing, our CASP, ELA and math. So you'll see here 29% ELA, 26% math. Both of those are predicting higher performance than what we did on our last dashboard, showing that our students are making growth. It's a check-in point for us. That ends Title II. Are there any questions on Title II? All right, I'm going to this is the most complicated one because it is Title IV, but there are 3 buckets. It would be helpful if there were 4 buckets because then you could easily remember this. Title IV has 3 buckets. I need to spend at least 30% of the funds in each of the buckets. So my allocation is $2.3 million. I look at all of the feedback that we received, all of the services that we have from our general fund, our supplemental funds, our Title I funds, our Title II funds, our Title III funds, and look to see how can Title IV continue to support and expand those programs in these 3 areas. So I cannot use this money for whatever I want. The first bucket is safe and healthy students. A lot of that work aligns with what Ms. Williams presented on. So once we see how much she needs, we know she's looking at Arroyo, for example. She has some grants. So if there are additional needs, then we can utilize Title IV. I need to spend at least 30% of the 2.3 in that bucket. The second bucket is a well-rounded education, very general term, but in the law, it gives you very specific allowable activities such as college and career counseling guidance, apprenticeships, things like STEM or VAPA. Those all build as allowable, well-rounded activities. The last one is effective use of technology. So again, 30% at least in each of the buckets, 30% in effective use. This is training our staff on how to use the technology they have in their classroom. It's very nice to have a shiny board that moves up and down and you can touch it and you can interact with it, but if you don't know how to use it, it's not going to impact your instruction. So this allows us to provide training in that area. Of that bucket, here's another rule for you. I need to spend 30%, right? But of the 30%, you are allowed to spend 15% on actual devices. So we don't usually do that because our board has made already a commitment to providing devices to our staff and students that we don't normally use Title IV even though it would be allowable. Okay, you can go to the next slide. So this will break it up by the 3 buckets. So under safe and healthy students, we have community health education workers, or CHUs. You might have heard that term before. We also have college student interns that work in our emergency response office. They help to put community fairs on. They support during back to school extravaganza. They are there to build the safety awareness around our district. Under well-rounded, we have a coordinator that oversees all of our apprenticeships, our job placements, our agreements with local unions, and working with our CTE programs. And as an ongoing priority, I know you've heard me share about this through LCAP, but utilizing Title IV as well, we continue to build access to things like STEM and having labs with state-of-the-art materials and the appropriate facilities needed to support those labs. And then under effective use of technology, again, that's the staff training our teachers and staff on how to use that technology. And then very small purchases for technology infrastructure. The next slide. You'll see some data there for our panorama survey. I've already shared this data before because it's one of our metrics within our LCAP. So this is actually a recap of data you've already seen. Our panorama survey is given at the elementary and secondary level. There are not big swings in the data where the points grow by 10, 15 points or drop by 10, 15 points. This has been very stable data for our students. As our students continue to access all of the resources that Ms. Williams shared, we would expect in particular the secondary to see those numbers go up. Under well-rounded, because it is tied to college and career, we have our CCI, which is our college and career indicator. This is from our California dashboard, and I'm actually going to be sharing more about the California dashboard in the next DAC meeting and the following one. But right now, we have at least 50.2% of our students who participated and completed at least one CTE pathway. That's at the secondary level, high school only. And then A through G, this is also high school only. 43.7% of our students met all of the A through G requirements, meaning they took the classes that are required for them to attend a UC or CSU school. And then in under effective use of technology, we utilize something called the Triple E framework. This is a framework used during walkthroughs in the classroom to show whether the technology is enhancing the instruction or it's just replacing a task. So I can write with my pencil or I can type with my keyboard. One's not necessarily better than the other. We want to see the use of technology really enhancing the student's education. Next slide. So this takes us to our feedback form. This feedback form is again for titles 1, 2, 3, and 4. When you click on this feedback form, and we will email this to you as well to all of our DAC members in our virtual meeting, we will drop this in the chat for you right now. You will see a reiteration of what Mr. Ojeda, Mrs. Sagashi, and I presented to ask, what do you think? Again, tell me, yes, these things are working. We like them. We want to keep them. It would be devastating if we lost them. Or here are some areas where we could improve. So we know that we have coaching, but we need coaching for principals who aren't new, as an example, right? There might be areas where we can improve, or something we're missing altogether. There's something you want to see for English learners, for professional learning, for intervention for our students, or for the 3 buckets in Title IV. The more you can provide, the better and more helpful it is when we do have to make decisions during budget development and the development of our LCAP federal addendum. So you know we write the LCAP. There's a little section at the back, like 76 pages, that speak directly to what we're doing with these programs. So your input helps to develop that section of our LCAP called the Federal Addendum. Any questions on Titles 2 or 4? You're very quiet today. Nothing, Miss Williams?
No, you did a good job when I have no questions.
All right, my dear. With that, I'm going to turn it right back over to you to take us to the next agenda item.
Okay. There are no further questions, none, nothing? Nice sweater, Miss Kimber. We will now move on to our last agenda item, new business, input on the district parent and family engagement policy.
All right, and I'm going to handle that part of the presentation. In your handouts, you should have received a copy of our district parent-family engagement policy, Policy 6020. This policy is similar to the parent-family engagement policy at the school site, because not only does the school have a policy, but so does the district, because we receive those federal funds. We're required to engage our parents because we have those Title I funds. So what we're going to do this evening is take a look at this policy. I'm going to present some of the information to you. You were given this policy at our last meeting to review, and I would like your input on this policy this evening. So as you take a look at it, the board recognizes that our parents, guardians, and their children's and parents and guardians are their children's first and most influential teachers. You're their first teachers. As soon as they're born, you're starting to teach your children things, right? And so our board recognizes that, and that our board also recognizes that they want parents and guardians to be involved in the education of children because it contributes greatly to their student achievement and a positive school environment. The superintendent or designee shall consult with parents, guardians, and family members in the development of meaningful opportunities for them to be involved in district and school activities at all grade levels, advisory, decision-making, and advocacy roles and activities to support learning at home. Parents and guardians shall be notified of their rights to be informed about and to participate in their children's education and to the opportunities available to them to do so. The district's local control and accountability plan shall include goals and strategies for parent-family involvement, including district efforts to seek parent-guardian input in district and school decision-making, and to promote parent-guardian participation in programs for English learners, foster youth, students eligible for free and reduced price meals, and students with disabilities. As you continue to review this policy, you'll see the next big section is about our Title I schools, which all of our schools are a Title I school. Our superintendent or designee shall involve parents, guardians, and family members in establishing district expectations and objectives for meaningful parent, guardian, and family engagement in schools supported by Title I funding. Developing strategies that describe how the district will carry out each activity listed, and you'll see the ed code there, as contained in the accompanying administrative regulation, and implementing and evaluating such programs, activities, and procedures. So our district superintendent or designee will conduct outreach to parents and guardians and family members regarding this policy, and that's what we're here to do tonight. So if you take a look further down, you'll see how our Title I expenditures, and we spoke about it earlier this evening, how our Title I funds are used to and be consistent with the activities specified in this policy. So you'll see that number one, Support for schools and nonprofit organizations in providing professional development for district and school staff regarding parent, guardian, and family engagements. That's why we have our family engagement department, right? We use our Title I funds so that they can provide training to you. We support, then we have number 2, support for programs that reach parents, guardians, and family members at home, in the community, and at school. We have our Atlas department that helps with that, right? They reach out to our families at home and in the community, as well as our family engagement department. Dissemination of information on best practices focused on parent, guardian, and family engagement, especially best practices for increasing the engagement of economically disadvantaged parents, guardians, and family members. Then we have number 4, collaboration with community-based or other organizations for employers with a record of success in improving and increasing parent-family engagement. And number 5, other activities and strategies that the district determines are appropriate and consistent with this policy. On the back side, you'll see some information regarding non-Title I schools, but again, all of our schools receive our Title I funds. And then you'll see lots of references to different education codes that relate to parent-family engagement and programs, and you can even review these at your leisure. There are different links there that are associated with parents' rights, with our local control accountability plan, with parent advisory councils, and so forth. So you'll have this at your leisure to review for other opportunities for parent-family engagement. This policy is provided to you in English and Spanish. It's stapled together so you have the chance to read through it. What I would like to do at this time is give you the opportunity to give us your feedback. What do you like about this policy, or what would you like to see our district do to improve our parent-family engagement? So if you have some ideas, feel free to come up here to the microphone or put them in chat, and we'll make sure that we get everything recorded so that we can utilize that information here in our district. Ms. Williams.
I've been with the district for a long time. I went to school here in San Bernardino. I've watched it grow and evolve, and I'm always amazed at all the things that we are doing. And I look at other districts, and yes, they are way behind us. They feel like dinosaurs. And they're asking us questions. One thing I would like to see more with the parent involvement is I would like to see more of the involvement with getting everything. It seems like a lot of things are separated by ethnic groups. Everything is separated. I would like to see a collaboration of all families, a get-together thing, like a picnic or something, a school picnic at the end of the year, or Christmas party, something where all the groups are brought together to show unity. For me, I like to see more unity within the district instead of the separation.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that input. Any other thoughts? Any other ideas that you'd like to share? Anything in our chat yet? Okay. Feel free. You can always leave your burning question sheet with your information. You can put it in chat, or you can, after the meeting, stop and talk to myself or Ms. Sargent. We'll gather your input and utilize that when we start making decisions about our parent-family engagement activities. Thank you all so much. Next item on the agenda.
Thank you. Surprised no more questions. So many people. Oh my God. If there are no further questions, we will move on to public comments. This time for public comments. Does anyone have any public comments?
Come on over to the microphone or raise your hand in that virtual world.
I would like to let all of you know today, as I mentioned earlier, It is the Ho-Ho Parade going on. It starts at actually 6 o'clock, where they will commence. It ends at the YMCA over on 21st Street in San Bernardino. If you know San Bernardino, it's right down the street from St. Bernardine's Hospital. So they'll be there. If you've never been, go. I go every year with my grandkid and my 2 foster kids. And they got the hot chocolate, the music. They sometimes show a movie. Santa's there.
And we might be done in enough time for all of
get
you to
there.
head over there.
Right. So if you've never been, it is something that is real enjoyable because all the different characters, it's not just Santa, but then they have characters from, what is it? Oh my God, I forget. But there's all different characters besides just Santa. And they come with all the nice, neat looking cars and the fire trucks, and the police department is escorting them. So it's something that's always good to see.
Sounds like a lot of fun.
And those of you, another point that was given to me by a parent said that this Saturday, also at the at the Paris Hill Park, they will be doing a toy giveaway. So at I think she said it starts at 9 o'clock. They'll be doing a toy giveaway at the YMCA Saturday morning. Not the YMCA, just Paris Hill Park. I
Over
always
at
say
Paris
the
Hill
YMCA
Park.
because
Yeah,
it's
they're
there.
connected. They're right there.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Any other public comments?
Ms. Tagashi, we do have a question from Ms. Farrell in the chat. She asked, are there programs for your high achieving students to keep them motivated and keep them growing in their achievements?
Oh, excellent question. Absolutely. And every school outlines those programs on their own campus. We have many campuses that utilize AVID, utilize IB, AP, advanced placement courses, and so forth to help keep those students achieving at higher rates. Excellent question. Ms. Sargent, do you have other input on that?
I know you all know this, but LCAP Goal 1, Action 1 is advanced learners. So our advanced learner programs are available at the elementary, middle, and high school level. It does include many of what Mrs. Tagashi shared, including IB, which is actually at the elementary level at Holcomb as a PYP program, Chavez as an MYP program, and then Cajon and Arroyo as starts MYP and then becomes IB. We also have our GATE program with our students clustered at the elementary level. There are some advanced learner GATE magnet schools. The signature program is currently taking applications right now. So if you are looking for your student for placement in one of our signature programs, the application is online. So if you go to the district's website, it is under our enrollment and placement services, and that would include placement into our advanced learner programs. For example, at North Park has an advanced learner program. Alessandro has an advanced learner program. As the students finish elementary, then they receive a letter for participation in the MYP program at Chavez or at King. So you have some options there, but then we also have the lottery, which is available and I believe also takes place in December. So we're right at that time, even though we're not thinking about next year. Next year's planning is happening right now. And then our teachers have access to training called GATE training. This actually is a certification that they receive that allows any of our classroom teachers to teach the general content to our students, but then extend the learning for our students, not give them more work, not make them a personal TA or, teach another student, but actually deepen their learning, increase the depth of knowledge for those standards. So that is available to our teachers as a GATE certification as well. So lots of opportunities for extending and enriching our students who are performing at grade level and beyond.
Right over here. You want to come up to the microphone? That'd be great. Thanks. I don't know how many of you are aware or not. I wasn't aware of this when I went to college to become a teacher. I thought I would learn everything I needed to know in my college program. I was sadly mistaken. I had to learn a lot on the job, and working here in this district, very, very fortunate to be able to have all of the learning opportunities as a teacher and then as an administrator as well. So our district does a great job helping our staff. Yes, sir.
Oh, so as our chairman said about the parade, it also reminded me of something that my middle school does. So my middle school does like hot chocolate with the principal, and we bring out like we have cookies, hot chocolate, and we also have this year we're doing 2 Santas. So.
And what school is that?
Serrano Middle School.
Fabulous.
We like to show our pride here at Serrano.
Absolutely. And your principal yesterday, she was very proud of her outfit at our principals meeting yesterday. She actually won an award for it. She was jingling all the way through that meeting all day. So thank you so much. Appreciate it. Your name?
Robert?
Thank you, Robert. We have very proud schools. They do a lot of great activities, and that was just one example of them. Thank you so much. Any other public comments? Yes, come on up. We have our interpreter.
Buenas tardes, soy Consuelo Rubio, represento la escuela Bradley. Tengo una pregunta acerca de lo que dijo la señora Sargent. Ahorita se abrieron las inscripciones o están en el proceso los estudiantes que califican para las escuelas Magnet. Incluso ya las 3 escuelas ya hicieron sus presentaciones. Y apenas descubrí que la escuela Chávez, que tiene excelentes instalaciones,
question regarding the information that Ms. Kimber gave about the magnet schools.
Que la escuela Chávez solo ofrece el transporte para los estudiantes locales. Entonces, aparte escuché de varios padres que están interesados sus estudiantes en esa escuela, pero no ofrecen transporte para los que están de este lado. Entonces, ¿hay algún fondo que se pueda destinar?
So for the students that live around Chavez School, they have transportation. But for the kids that live on the other side, they don't have transportation. Do you guys have any funds that can be used to help the other students with transportation?
Is that for the GATE program?
Magnet School.
For magnet schools. We do offer transportation for our magnet schools, and Miss Kimber is writing down your question. We don't have all the specific details, but we will bring that information back. And your second question? Oh, okay. Thank you so much. All right. Next item on the agenda. I think we have answered had all the public comments. Next item on the agenda are our next meetings next year. We're not going to see you until 2026. So you'll see those meetings listed on the last page for our upcoming DAC meeting, our DAAAC, our DLAC, and our CAC meetings for the beginning of 2026. We wish each and every one of you a wonderful holiday and a safe winter break. And I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Williams to close our meeting out. Oh, before I forget, your name tags, when you leave, make sure you turn them in at the registration desk so we have them to hand out to you in January.
Okay. As so well elegantly said by Mr. Goggin, on behalf of the DAC board, we wish you all a very happy holidays. Be safe. We will now end this meeting, the last one of the year. Can you guys believe that? Yay! At 6:39.